Good morning, everyone. This is Pastor Robert Wilson with God's Way Apostolic Cathedral. We are a non denominational ministry, and I'm coming to you this morning with our Sunday morning message. Out here on the road, I'm actually in Tallulah, Louisiana. I've been uh, traveling from Mississippi to California and California back to Mississippi uh, with the holiday coming up. I'm actually on my phones this morning. With the holidays coming up, I have no clue where I'm going to be, but prayerfully that you guys who are celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday, like what my daughter said, she said it was a Friendsgiving day, just friends coming together and enjoying a meal. That is also the way I look at it. But, we are definitely looking forward to a good meal and, to me, good time. I'm always looking to watch football on that given day. That's why I don't like going to other people's homes, because I can't dictate what they watch on TV, but I know in my home it'll be football. And anyway, good morning, love. I definitely want everyone to uh, be safe. There was a killing last night. It was at a gay bar, I guess. Well, yeah, a gay place, a club or something like that. The thing is, uh, if anyone calls themselves uh, doing things for God, and you're out there harming folks, I'm talking about Christians, right? And you are out there harming folks, and how are you doing anything for Jesus when Jesus says to love your enemies? That is not of God. Um, you know, as this political scenario, Dilly, there's somebody backing up, and this truck is really loud. Uh, uh, played out or plays out. We have what we call the evangelicals or the Christians that's supposedly on the Republican side, or there's some Christians, of course, on the other side, but they don't ever. I'm talking about the ones that are fighting with one another, not displaying love. You're not loving your enemies. You're not respecting who's in office, and all of these are criterias of being a Christian. We are to respect who's in office, whether we voted for them or not, we like them or not. When they're leading our country, the Bible tells us to respect those in authority, and that is definitely the president of the United States. So all the disrespect, like I said, no matter which president party has the president in office, we are to still respect the office. Didn't say you had to like them, but you have to respect it. And that leads me to what I'm talking about. Who are you entertaining? That is this morning message. I got it from speaking to Brother Carlton, who used to be our deacon when we had our physical building back in Georgia, and we definitely do a lot of talking on the telephone, which I enjoy. He's talking about spiritual growth, and how he wants to improve in his spiritual life. He's also talking about trucking, because he's getting into trucking, and he wants some information from me, because of course I was a trucker. I am a trucker, I should say. But I enjoy our conversations, and he was, as he spoke to me, he was giving me some great ideas for sermons, messages. And one of them was, who are you entertaining? Because he said it should be important about who do we entertain. And even though I thought I had it one way, I told Pastor A yesterday and this morning that I wasn't feeling it, and I kept trying to get something going on. And this morning, as I was grooming myself up, I saw Revelations 21:3, and that sparked it in me to continue with, who are you entertaining? Um, the thing about, I'm gonna go with my week. Uh, I went through a lot of snow, everyone. Matter of fact, the snowstorm is making its way up towards Philadelphia, or rain, or the storm is making its way towards Philadelphia in the rain. But the thing is, I had to travel through the snow from Mississippi. The load picked up. I ended up going to Idaho, Seattle, Washington, and back to San Francisco, California. Made my way down to Southern California, and from Southern California, I made my way to New Mexico, in which I got stuck. The load that I had that ended up uh, they changed rescheduling. They changed the day from Wednesday to Monday, and there was just no way I could stay there till Monday, because I had to get to uh, Mississippi on Tuesday. But anyway, with that being said, certain places that I've been to, especially Texas, wow, I thought Georgia was bad, but Texas people are more I want to say recklessly aggressive. I've seen several bad accidents in Texas, and it's like it just flies over people's head that these people had an accident driving like the ones who driving bad are driving. And yet they continue to drive that way. I remember one year I was in Texas and they had how many road deaths they had, and it was only April and they were already up to 3,000 road deaths. I don't understand why you want to be a part of that number. That's not a number I would want to be in, but yet they continue with this bad, fast driving, aggressive driving, thinking it's not going to come upon you. But the sad thing about it, like I said, I've seen uh, what was one of the worst memorials I've seen. What I'm talking about was the number of deaths. It was a corner, and one spot had 7 crosses, another one had 2 crosses, and there was another cross, and then there was a couple of crosses across the road where they're showing that a lot of people have passed on, died at this intersection because of just bad driving. And it hurts my heart, honest to God, people. It does. It hurts my heart to know that, like I said, you woke up this morning, you had plans to do whatever you thought you were going to do that day, and you never made it back home because of bad driving. It's not worth it. And I will, Lord, say the same, continue to preach, to slow down, to be more careful, stop being so aggressive. It's not worth it. Um, coming across some of these wrong people, because the devil spirit is out there also. Coming across some of these wrong people will definitely end our lives. I even myself try not to engage folks when they cut me off. I try to warn them by tooting the horn, hey, you about to cut the truck off, and we're getting ready to slow down, whatever. But I'm not trying to engage you in any altercation. I want you to understand it is a deadly practice to continually cut off a big rig truck in traffic. So with that being said, the title of the message is, who are you entertaining? My scripture is Revelation 21:3. Pray with me as I go forth, that the Lord would truly word my mouth, my heart, my tongue, and my spirit to feed you what you need this morning. And then as I continue on my way to Georgia, and from Georgia, I'm going back to Mississippi, all within a day's time. All right. As we go forward, here's the passage, Revelation 21:3. And a voice, and I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God. Who are you entertaining? Entertaining, I look at all of the sports, singing, acting as entertainment. Matter of fact, I can even look at politics as entertainment. It is so interesting to me that we all pick favorite things that we like, whether in music, I forgot, I don't know if I said music, but music also, we have our different genres of music that we love, and we learn about the people. We love certain artists. Acting is the same. Sports is the same. Um, we will get a person who we can relate to. Entertaining, they entertain us, they make us laugh, they make us cry, they make us think, right? They inspire us. But who are we entertaining is the question. When we think about what the Bible teaches us, and the Bible teaches us about being in the world, but not of the world. And I know it was in the passage one time, and they probably, when they did the different translations, may have taken it out or reworded it, whatever the case may have been. But the bottom line is, who are you entertaining? Who are you allowing to come into your circle that can influence you in a way that may pull you from God? Or are you influencing them in a way that brings them to God? I know that we go through life and we want to strengthen our social circle. That's why we have so many of these social media things. We want to have so many followers. We want to have so many likes in the posts that we do. We want to have so many friends. But in our natural sense, we exercise what the strength. We go out to places. We try to be gregarious. We want to be the life of the party for those that are extroverted. The introverted people, they like people to like them, but they don't have the confidence or that will to want to be out there just showing others, or being, like I say, the life of the party in that sense. But they definitely, some like they friends, they want true friends, they want loving friends, right? But they don't go about it the same way. They are more skeptical and critical, I'm talking about the introverts, of people that they allow to come into their lives. They don't just let anyone, 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 they don't just let anyone come in to their life. And I hope my wife don't get mad, but I'm gonna use Pastor A real quick. Pastor A doesn't trust anyone just to come into her life and act like they're her friend. Pastor A is not like me at all, and that's just new. Pastor A will be very critical about people that come into her life. She wants to know, what is your real agenda? You know, are you really there just to because you like my company, or you like my presence, you like my personality? And she will definitely vet you much more than I will. Me, I'm truly extroverted. I get out there, I'm gonna act a fool, I'm gonna act a clown. You want to be my friend? I'm not gonna give you the word friend. You can be my acquaintance, someone that I know, but being my friend is a whole entire different level. But I will entertain you, right? Pastor A won't do that, right? She's very, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you a story. We went to a um what was it, like a revival. This is back when we first got married. Uh, we went to a revival, and at the end of the revival, you know, I'm new to the Christian walk. The pastor or the speaker asked for people to come up for prayer. Well, I figured that was the thing to do, and I went up there for prayer. Pastor A did not move. She stayed right back there in the back. And after I got prayer, I asked her, why didn't she go up there? She said, because the Bible says you have to try the spirit. You can't just let anyone pray over you because you don't know. Now, I got on, I mean, not nasty or anything. I was like, whoa. How you let me go up here to let this person pray on me, then tell me, you know, because that bad spirit or whatever can pop off on me. Who are you entertaining? I mean, even in our Christian walks, who are you entertaining? Who are you allowing to come into that circle? Because remember, she's laughing too. Remember, God dwells with us, and God is a holy God. He will not dwell in an unclean temple. So when we're out there allowing folks to come into our circle to influence us, to motivate us, to inspire us, think about back to the political scene. You have some Christians on the Republican side, and some Christians on the Democratic side, and some Christians in the middle. And going through all of this, when you look at what's going on, some of the Christians on the Republican side spew a whole lot of hate. They talk about violence, they talk about hatred, they want to what's the word I want to say? They want to promote really the person over what God has told us to do, because even out of the respect aspect of the office, and I'm talking about all of them, not just one. I'm talking about all politicians when I'm saying this. It's not our job to get so in love with that person that we actually put their belief systems over God. And God has told us to do what? Love your neighbor, and love your enemy. But yet we're talking about civil wars. We're talking about killing one side of the party or the other side of the party. Why? Because we don't agree with their politics. But where in the Bible did it tell us that we had to agree with man's politics? Who are we entertaining? Right? Where did it tell us? Okay. Where did it tell us that man's policies are more important than God's command? And Pastor A wanted me to, she put it up here that she says, everyone that's in your circle is not in your corner. And that is so true, because people realize that people also have different agendas. Just like our agenda as a Christian is to walk for God. Good morning, Brother Kevin. It's our agenda to walk for God. We have people, because Satan fell and he took a third of heaven with him. Don't ever forget that, people. Don't ever forget. Satan has fallen from heaven and he took a third of heaven with him. And we don't know what that number is, but Satan is the ruler of the air of this planet. He rules the system here, right? That means that his minion, that third that came down with him, is doing their job to turn people away from God. Who are you entertaining? What did the Bible says? That he will appear as an angel of light. Why? Why is it that he appears? Because he used to be an angel. The minions used to be an angel. When the Bible says he appears as an angel of light, what does that mean? It means that he's appearing to be someone that's in your corner. He's appearing to be your friend, someone that got your best interest at heart. But the bottom line to it is he doesn't have it. What he wants is to pull you away or take you off your walk with God. We allow it because some of us in our personalities, our desire to be liked, our desires to have a large following, our desire to be the life of the party wants that attention. And we will listen to someone who has what we call clout or power or esteem, or they're highly privileged, and we will want to be in their circle, and we want to be able to say that I hobnobbed, that I knew them, that I hung out with them, that we were together, whatever the case may be, and we allow them to influence us in such a way that we forget what God has told us. And I'm back to loving God, keeping him first, loving our neighbors, and loving our enemies. We have truly forgotten that because we want to be able to say that we are affiliated with man. And the Bible clearly, well, says that who is man that thou art mindful of man, right? Why do we put so much emphasis on trying to please someone who's going to actually end up in the same predicament that you are? They may have a little bit more money. And matter of fact, I read an article when the lottery had jumped up to the 2 bill, and there was a person, I think, I forgot, was he a therapist, whatever, but anyway, he was talking about the mental things that come along with winning the lotto. And I was telling Pastor, long before I read the article, one of the biggest things and problems that you're going to have if you ever won the lotto, when all that money, is trust. Because all of a sudden, you're no longer going to trust everybody, because you're going to really start to wonder, are they with me, or are they with me for the money that I possess? And the gentleman, the article that I read clearly stressed that's the number one issue. When you win that much money, trust becomes a major issue in your life. And he said it starts to wear on your mind, and it does. Howard Hughes became a recluse. I don't know why he became one, but he had a lot of money. He clearly states money is not going to buy happiness. People got to stop thinking that money buys things. It doesn't buy happiness. You say, well, if I get these things, I'm going to be happy. No, because the Bible clearly tells us those things are going to rust, and they're going to tarnish, and they're going to break. And guess what? You'll be buying them all over and over again. And in you're going to realize you wasted so much of your money. Why? Because you're entertaining a status because you happen to have extra money. What I would tell you when it comes to money, and this is as I'm feeling the flow, is you want enough to take care of your bills. The Bible says we should owe no man, and you would want to make sure that you're to the point where you owe no man. Because think about entertaining this thought, or this premise, or this concept. If you were to get it to the point where you owe no one any money, the money that you make right now, what could you do with it? Do you need to go get credit? Do you need to get a line of credit? Do you need to borrow? Any of those things. If you didn't owe anyone, and the dollars that you make right now, what would you be able to do? See, we don't have to continue trying to always make more and more. No, because when we make more and more, we're still entertaining. Who are we entertaining, right? This is being of the world. We're entertaining worldly things. What are we looking to get? We want to get fancier cars, bigger homes, designer clothes, first class trips around the world and stuff. I like taking trips. I'm gonna be honest. I love taking trips. I like cruises. Cruises is my number one thing because I can have a multitude of things to do on the ship. I can go to different ports, get off the ship in a different country, explore. I love history. Good morning, Brother Carlson. I already talked about you earlier, matter of fact. But I like to get off the ship and explore other countries. I like to get the history of the country, and then I can get right back on the ship, go back to another spot, and I feel more comfortable on the ship than I do actually being in other countries because I know nothing about them. But I love cruises. And when I look to do this, or matter of fact, let me go with my other thing about flying. As a matter of fact, Brother Carlson, I mentioned it to him, and my wife knows. I would love to have my own private plane, jet. Why? Because I hate the commercial airport. I hate the air. I do. I hate all the stuff we go through at the airport. I hate the fact that you in the plane, air in that area. You don't know what crazies you got up in there. And I would prefer, if I could afford it, to have my own private jet. I can't afford it, so I still fly commercial. But that's not a status thing. It's actually my just not liking to be around so many other people and not knowing how crazy some folks are. I think about the movie Outbreak. And if any of you guys remember in the movie Outbreak, how did that disease truly spread through the town? What was it called? Cedarville, whatever. But we actually, Pastor Ed and myself, actually took one of our anniversaries to that town, not knowing that was the town that they filmed the movie Outbreak in. And if you remember, the one guy got sick. They were testing his blood, and the lab tech ended up, when he was testing the blood, the vial with the blood broke, and the blood got over his face, and he ended up wiping it off. And now here you go into the movie theater looking pale and pasty and sicky. Yeah, I said sicky. And you get into the movie theater and you cough, and then the camera captures when he coughs the spray that comes out of his mouth. And this is a big, nice little movie theater. And as it went through the movie theater, it captured everyone in the theater. Who are you entertaining? Who are you around? See, that encapsulate that, right? Who are you entertaining? Now everyone comes about that movie theater and they sick and they coughing. And if you don't, spoiler alert, a lot of people end up dying because of the Ebola virus in Outbreak. It's an old movie, you guys. You can Google it or YouTube it or whatever the case may be. Dustin Hoffman, Morgan Freeman. Well, I'll leave it at that. But anyway, and that's the same thing you think about when you're around people of the world. Are the people of the world like that sick man in the movie Outbreak, where his cough, his sneeze affects and change how you are as a child of God? Or are you the sick man and your cough are influencing people to follow God? Who are you following? Thank you, Pastor A. Dustin Hoffman. But how are you entertaining these people? Now, to be honest with you, majority of us are the ones being influenced by the sick man. Because I'm telling you again, back on the political scene, like I said, when you listen to all this hatred and all this non-Jesus-like behavior that comes out of the mouths of these so-called Christians. Yes, I call them so-called Christians, because if you were trying to follow Christ, you would be doing the things of Christ. You would want to entertain Christ in your life. You would want Christ to be around you all the time. You want Christ to be the sick man with the cough or the sneeze, and that disease or the virus to get inside of you. So all of a sudden now you are going to be like him. But that's not how we're doing this. We're so caught up on the world. We're so caught up in how we want to be elevated in this society that we refuse to be like Jesus. We would prefer to be like him. I'm not going to say Mike or any name, just like him or her. We want them to influence us so much that when a person sees us, that we act more like you act just like so and so or blank or whoever the case that person may be. And that's not what God is calling us to do. God wants us in our entertainment circle. I think about a little leaven the whole lump. What does that mean? One bad apple spoils the whole bunch. What does that mean? That means that it doesn't take a lot to cause a lot of damage. Think about that. Think about that. For those of us who do not drink alcohol, how much alcohol do you think it's going to take for you to get drunk or even a buzz? And for those, like I remember the first time I ever drank some alcohol, maybe a couple of sips, not gulps, but a couple of sips. And the next thing I know, I'm feeling some kind of way that wasn't the way that I normally felt. Why? Because I'm not used to it. I wasn't entertaining the alcohol scene or anything else like that. It had a stronger influence on me then. But once you become to the point where you drink like what they call you, an alcoholic, a functioning alcoholic, you can drink a ton of alcohol before you actually it starts to mess with your system. Why? Because you built up a tolerance. But here's the thing about that, y'all. That tolerance has caused you to become dangerous to the other people. No, we had a neighbor when we were in California. Would go out, drink up a storm, come back, and time from time. I mean, honestly, God, you have to say how much God was with him. He's come back. He's wrecked up his vehicle. Done had numerous wrecks. I'm still trying to figure out how in the world he's still out there driving at the time. This is a while ago. But why he was still out there driving, but he was a function. He did it. He loved to go out there and drink. He would come back, his vehicle be all tore up, right? He'd get another vehicle, he'd go right back out there and do the same thing. And I'm like I said, we blowing our mind, but that's the way he had to do it. And so the thing about it was, even though he felt it was a good thing for him, what he actually was actually a danger to society. Because if you realize, most people who are drunk and driving, they're not the ones who actually get hurt in the accidents. It's the ones who are not drunk and driving. So when that alcoholic sinner, in a sense, comes to you, are they affecting you in the negative? Like, I have relatives that do all kind of things, right? If I had a relative that was an alcoholic, matter of fact, I remember growing up real small child, and I had an uncle, and he was driving us um, back on Fifth Street in Richmond. Anybody in Richmond who knows what about Perry School, y'all know what area I'm talking about. You know how the street went around Perry School, and then you picked up Fifth Street behind the house or the block or whatever the case may be. He was driving us over there. We didn't have seatbelts on, y'all. They didn't have a seatbelt law back then. Um, but he was driving. And he pulled out this brown paper bag, and I looked, and I said, what is that? We were like, what is that? He said, oh, this is my medicine. That's I'm laughing. This is my medicine. I use it for medicinal purposes, right? That was his mindset. That was, but what was he doing? He was actually endangering our lives because he was what? Driving drunk. I want this kind of car. The devil's constantly busy, y'all. He's constantly busy. So, but I want this kind of fancy luxury exotic car. That's the word for it, the exotic car. I looked at this is all me just saying things. I looked at what's that crib show they used to do on MTV, whatever it's called, but and they show somebody's crib, and it's all this fancy marble and all these fancy stairwells and all these fancy uh uh, uh, chandeliers and all that stuff. Oh, I want that, right? And I all of a sudden they say the people who have them are entertainers. MTV cribs. Thank you, brother Carlton. And he was all entertainers that had it. If y'all didn't hear me in the beginning, entertainers to me are all of it: sports, music, acting, all of it, and even some politicians. All encapsulate entertainment in my world. Okay, and that's who the ones who have it. So now all of a sudden we get away from humble living to all of a sudden we want this extravagant living. And I'm not saying you can't like something and want it, but when it becomes your main focus, your main goal in life, and you forsake all that God is trying to give you, because if you didn't hear me earlier, I said this: the Bible says, oh, no one. If you follow that concept and you owed no one, how much can you do with the money that you currently make right now? I'm saying, if you own a home, you don't have to pay mortgage. If you're renting, well, that's a different story. I would suggest that you look to go buy a home. Honestly, I do, because I stress it with my children. You want to own and not rent, because all you're doing is paying somebody else's stuff and you're making somebody else rich. And yes, I know some people may not want the headaches of having to maintain a home, but if you want to be able to get to a point where, because rent and mortgage is our biggest chunk of money that comes up out of our pocket. If you want to get to the point where your money is now yours to do as you please, as long as you're, doing what God asks you, I'm telling you, pay your tithes and your offers and stuff like that, you would find a different world in your life. And people say, wow, we work at the same place, but you sure do more with your money than I do. Well, I don't owe anybody. I'm a follower of God's concept. I entertain God's principles of owing no one. Yes, and we are working on that whole concept. of owing no one. I'm talking about Pastor A and myself. We're working on that concept of owing no one. We don't want, even though we have credit cards, we don't want stuff on the credit card. We want to be able to pay our mortgage off. We don't want to have car notes. And as a matter of fact, we almost off the one car note we got now. We just want to be able to have what we have. If we decide we want to buy it, if we can afford it, right then and there, we can go get it. If not, we can save the money that we're getting to buy it. But to continually entertain keeping up with the Joneses. If that's an old saying, that's like trying to be like somebody else. The Bible calls it coveting. Um, to keep up with the Joneses because they got the latest and the greatest. If you're not understanding the world system, understand this. I'm trying to remember. I know the number was 5,000, and I'm trying to remember what was it? A week, a month, but it wasn't a year. It was like I think it was a week or a month that we are bombarded with 5,000 advertisements. And like I said, was it a week or a month? I'm not sure. I can't remember, but we're going to let it be whatever it is. Just think. And what is the purpose of the advertisement? To get your money, to keep you in debt. If you're not paying attention to how trying to be of the world is breaking you and taking you further away from God, take a step back, step out of what it is that you're doing. Take some alone time. You know, I say this a lot, really. Get away from stuff and then just reflect on what's going on. You know what? I got this phone. Matter of fact, I actually got a brand new phone. My other phone really just kind of just played out on me. Um, but and I always go find the cheapest phone. Y'all, I want y'all to know that because I buy it out. I want to buy it flat out. I want them putting it on my financing it or anything else to the sort. No, I get my little $100, $200. I buy a little cheap phone and then move on from there. I don't need the latest, greatest, and all this other fancy stuff that they said that the phone is capable of doing. No, because that doesn't help me. All it does is keep me in debt. And then when it keeps me in debt, if I know I was going somewhere else, but when you keep in debt, just think about a lot of the seniors or the more mature people that you're seeing today now. You see more mature people working in the McDonald's and the fast food industries, the retail industries, the stores, right? Why? Because they can't afford to retire. And I don't know about you guys, but Pastor A and myself clearly says, honestly, we've been working since 14, 15, 16 years old. I don't want to be in my late 60s and 70s and still working. Come on now. God said he came to give me an abundant life, to enjoy life. I can't enjoy life if I'm constantly working, not by choice, but because I have to. And I'm talking about as a senior citizen, getting older. I don't want to go through all of that. I want to be able to stop and enjoy this beautiful world that God has created for us. But we can't do that. Why? Because we're constantly buying stuff. We're constantly staying in debt because we're constantly entertaining. Yes, I keep bringing it up. That's what we're constantly entertaining the world's system and not God's system. God says, owe no one. If you didn't owe anybody anything, honestly, there's really no need to work except for to get your food and pay some little bills, and you can do that. Most of the time, if we worked as long as we have, you're supposed to have Social Security, you're supposed to have retirement, some 401k, something that helps you take care of your bills. But the world does not want us to be that way. And who world is this? Remember, Satan is the prince of this world. He's the one in the airways. He's the one that's keeping us influenced. That's his purpose, to influence us to continue to walk away from God, to turn our back. That's why away on God. And that's why God says if his people will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways, that means that you're no longer facing that direction, but now you got to turn. And hopefully you're turning towards him to come back to him. Good morning, Sister Toy. And come back to him. And if you're coming back to him, you will no longer be entertaining the world system, but start to entertain his system. I know, like I said, we want so much. You know, we want to be a part, depending on introverted, extroverted, depending on the Joneses, whatever the case may be. We want so much for the world to see us a certain way, but the world should see us as what? True children of God. When the world sees you as a true child of God, guess what happens? All of a sudden, they may not hang around you as much. They may not even talk to you as much. But when they know when they need something from God, they're going to be right there at your door knocking, because they know that God is with you. And you would, just like this passage says in Revelation 21:3, he dwells with us. And if you want him to dwell with us, what do we must do? We must be holy. We must understand that God does not dwell in an unclean temple. And an unclean temple starts with, oh, no, go back and throw the other passage I mentioned. A little leaveneth the whole lump. That means it contaminates. It affects the whole lump. So that means that if we have one sin, because the Bible says it's all it takes to break all the laws if you're a law follower, is to break one law. If you break one law, you have broken all the laws. It's just like a linked chain, and you're hanging on a high area with a linked chain. Um, Sister Tori said they tend to forget that they know you, but you got those links. Now, if that, how many of those links does it take for you to fall? One. That chain is considered a failure if one link breaks, and you're holding on for dear life and one link breaks, then the whole chain fails and you fall to your demise or injuries or whatever. And it's the same thing with God's commands. If you're a law follower, if you follow the law, then all it takes for you to break all the laws, which is like 617, 677, something like that, is to break one. And I'm bringing it back to the coveting. Because when you start to covet what other folks have, you start to hate people, which is not one of God's laws, right? You have to love. When you start to be disrespectful to in the political realm of the office, when you sit there and think about greed, or you think about fornicating, or you think about lying, or any of these other things, you have broken all of them. And now you must pay the price. Because in the law, not knocking no one, no nothing. No, I'm just saying in the law, we had to do the Day of Atonement. But under Jesus, we have grace. That's why we're under grace in the New Testament, New Covenant with God. We're under grace, and under that doesn't mean that we get to continue to sin as Apostle Paul told when he did the Book of Romans. No, it means that we should be wanting to be even better than what we were under the law. We would want to do more things. We want to. I think about honesty, y'all. I know a lot of you guys have never hung around me, have never been in my presence or anything else. But if you really know me, you know I'm a big old clown. My wife says it all the time. Or anybody else know he loves uh, to be the life of the party. My brother Carlton calls me garbage man because I talk so much trash about sports. And see, a lot of you guys don't get a chance to experience that with me because we don't physically be around each other. But that is the kind of guy I am. I do love talking about God's word. I do love being respectful to all people. I show them love as much as I possibly can. Um, do I always succeed? I'm human. I'm human. Sometimes, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, it gets the best of me. I want to knock some folks out. I ain't gonna lie because they do some things, and then I say, but no, I'm not trying to entertain that. And see, that's a good one for me. I really don't want to entertain that, and I have to put my mind on something else. I want God to keep me on this current path that I'm on right now, and not on the entertaining the world system of what men should do when certain things go on in their life. With that being said, I do want everyone to have a blessed Sunday, to definitely enjoy whatever day you, however you want to call it, for Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, family giving, whatever you want to call it. But y'all can come together as a family and enjoy the meal. Like I said, again, I have no clue where I'm going to be. I just know that Tuesday I'm going to pick up a load in Mississippi. I definitely don't see myself getting to California to be with Pastor A and my daughter. Um, I know I do have a couple of invites going out, and I do thank God for those. It all, like I said again, it all depends on which direction I have to travel for my load. But I will cook a meal. That is something that's in my mind. I told Pastor, hey, I definitely would cook a meal. Yes, I can cook, y'all. Uh, I thank God for having that talent to be able to cook. Uh, and I, per other folks, I'm not gonna say per my Pastor Robert, they say I cook well. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But I am a clown. I do want to watch my boys play football on Thursday, whether they win or lose. I'm gonna still, root for them. And just think about who you're entertaining. Honestly, I know I can hear Brother Carlton when we talk on the phone. He's gonna be critiquing me and telling me other, you could have said this or you should have said that. I say what the Lord tells me to say. But who are you entertaining? Understand that those that are in your presence does have an influence or an impact in your walk with God. I'm gonna go back to my man being sick in the movie Outbreak and coughing in the theater, and basically he affected everyone in the town. Um, and a lot, like I said in the movie, a lot of people died from that one person and his influence. So who are you entertaining? Oh, hey, good morning and happy Thanksgiving, Sister Denise. Um, Good to see you. And for a fact, I'm back to Sister Denise. I'm praying for my brother Frank. As we get ready to get to that point, but think about who are you allowing to entertain you, or are you entertaining others to help them find God, or are you just being influenced and affected by the negativity of the world to keep you from enjoying all that God has for you? An abundant life in God means exactly that. That's why I said, if you owe no one, think about that. I want y'all honestly, the New Year's coming up, and I know we always, so as I say, a lot of us try to make those New Year's resolutions, but let's work on being debt free. Honestly, stop letting the latest and greatest influence us to go stay in debt. Let's get to the point where we're debt free and we can enjoy more of what God has already blessed us with. And there is no need to keep trying to climb ladders or find this or find that, and just enjoy what we already have. Just understand that no matter what we buy, it is going to break sooner or later. I know brand new cars straight off the factory floor have been bad from day one. Okay, just because you have a lot of money and you bought a fancy car don't mean it won't break. It's going to break. Don't, because you have a lot of money don't mean you're not going to be depressed. We have had a lot of people die of depression that was rich. So no, money is a tool to help us get by. It shouldn't be our master, but it should be a slave to us. And money so far has, in a lot of our lives, have been the other way around. It has been our master. It has been what influenced us to do whatever we want to do. So anyway, everybody enjoy the holiday coming up. Be safe. Hopefully that you can be with folks if you want to be with family and friends. And like I said, enjoy some fellowshipping with them and praying. Um, Brother Carlton says, okay, thank you. I'm just reading some of the comments. Brother Carlton says, I'm looking for good entertainment in God. Yes. Sister Denise says, amen. I guess she's speaking about my brother Frank. But as I'm getting ready to talk about it, we're praying for all of those that are going through. I'm gonna go with bereavement first. Yes, my family has been dealing with a lot of bereavement lately. My cousin Nikki lost her son, and I think it was a grandma or auntie or along that line. We've lost several relatives, and I know it's been extremely hard on my mother. I know where I got my thing from now. My mother. Well, I should say, I tell people who close in my circle, if anything ever happens to my mother, especially, uh, you can't talk to me. I don't want to, I don't want to talk to folks. I would rather be left alone. You would have to really get with Pastor A. The Lord says that she's still there at the time, and you have to talk to her. But after experiencing it, and I got this from my mother, after experiencing it a couple of times with my mama now, I don't know. I may have to change how I feel about that, because I know from my perspective, I'm trying to check on my mama to make sure she's okay, but she's not answering the phone because she's battling with her grief and stuff, and which I respect and understand. But as her son, her oldest son, she's my concern. My mama well-being is my concern, just like my wife's well-being and my family's well-being is my concern. My mama's well-being is also my concern, and it makes me like, wow, I don't know how she's feeling. I don't know what she's going through. I know, like I said, as we continue to go up in age, death really does start becoming more of a any day thing. But death is an any day thing for us, no matter what our age is. Death knows no age. It knows no true age. You can be 5 and you die. You can be a brand new baby and it's sad, but you can die. We know those are going straight to heaven. But when you become older, you want to really start thinking about that entertaining thing. I honest to God, as we get older, because you're going to entertain two places, one of two places when you die. And that is, oh, Pastor, I said, good morning, Brother Carlton, and happy birthday to your wife, Sister Sophie. And yes, we'll definitely say happy birthday to Sister Sophie. But it's either going to be heaven or the lake of fire. And if you think that entertaining the lake of fire, who makes a bad place look good? I'm trying to wrap up, y'all, but who makes a bad place look good? And I have to think about this episode of Married with Children, where Marcy first got married to Jefferson. That was her husband in the second half, or once the first husband left. And Al wanted the money. She wanted to throw a wedding because she didn't remember they got drunk or something. They got married like in Las Vegas or something along that lines. And she wanted to have a wedding or reception for the wedding, to do it right. And Al and both Al and Peg wanted that money to, like, Peg wanted the money to go to a trip to Hawaii, and Al wanted the money to go to this so-called great uh land. He called his retirement property that he really wanted. They made it seem like it was the greatest place in the world. And at the end of the show, Jefferson told Al why he got it, because he told Al he got arrested. And he didn't tell Marcy yet, but Al sit there and spilt the beans on Jefferson. So Jefferson told Al at the end of the show that he got arrested for selling land at this place called Lake Chicocamo, whatever. But it was so contaminated that he said the land would not be habitable for 5 billion years, 5 million years, something along that line. But the bottom line was they made it seem like it was a great place to go. And I'm using that because I don't want to hurt anybody. Or matter of fact, I could also go to the FTX and the crypto thing. But where they make it seem like it's this great pie in the sky thing. And like I said, we entertain it, we want it, we desire it, right? And then all of a sudden we find out we've been truly had, and now we let down and we hurt, and we get to this point where we're spiteful. We don't want to trust folks anymore. But that was our own greed, y'all. That's why I said if you entertain what God says and you stop coveting after everything that pops up under the sun, trust me, you can live a happier life. But anyway, we're praying for all of those that's dealing with bereavement, those that's dealing with the chronic illnesses in their bodies, the lupus, the MS, the diabetes, the kidney issues, the cancers, the what's that other disease? Just any of the diseases that's going on. To me, the mental, the depressions, the feeling lonely, all of those things. We need to be praying, everybody, all the time. Just say a prayer. I'm praying for all. I told Brother Carlson, and he know I'm gonna say it to him, about posting something in the God's Way group. You could just say, I'm praying for you all. Okay? We all need to be encouraged. We all need to witness. That is one of the commands that God has given us. And I remember I said, if you break one, you're breaking them all. Witness. Tell somebody, hey, you know what? It may not have been the best day, but I didn't let the devil get me today. That's all. Okay. And you ain't got to get into your personal business. Just the devil tried, and y'all need to pray for me. Pray my strength in the Lord. Listen to some of the stuff that comes on. Like I said, I know Sister Janice, I didn't get a chance to look at our page much this week, but she posted a beautiful song, and I don't even remember the name of it, but I told her I love that song. It was my first time hearing it because it actually touched my spirit. That's the reason why I'm saying that we need to post other things, because you don't know who you're helping when you do it. That's our witnessing. That's our a command from God to do. But anyway, we're praying for all of you guys who are going through issues. We want to say happy birthday to everyone who's had a birthday. Again, happy birthday to Sister Sophie and anyone else whose birthday is happening today. For all the ones whose birthdays have already happened, to my sister, my grandchild birthdays that's coming up, my brother's birthday, my wife's birthday that's coming up later on this month. I know Sister Terry Gilbert, what's her new last name? Well, Terry, please, if you listen to this, don't be mad at me because I don't know your new last name. She's been married for a while, but I've always known them as Gilbert. They were one of our first families that we met in El Sobrante when we were children, and I always consider them a part of my family. Even though we may not hang out or anything else, I still love them as a family because, like I said, they were one of our first families that we met when we moved to El Sobrante in California. But anyway, we're saying happy birthday to all of those. Again, enjoy the holiday. Again, be safe. Yes, Brother Carlton, I'm gonna be looking forward to the phone call. You know you can't call before Pastor Ado, but I'll be looking for the phone call and we can talk later. I'm on my way to Georgia. Pray for traveling mercies. Pray for all those battling the snow. Any of those still fighting COVID. Those are fighting financial issues. We want to pray for all of you guys. Don't forget Pastor Silas. Honestly, we need to try to build a care package. I know folks don't like trusting folks, but we need to help those. Remember, the Bible talked about God said, when I was hungry, you fed me not. When I was in jail, you didn't come see me, visited. And they said, when did those ever happen? And God said, when you saw any of my children going through, basically, when you saw my children go through it, that was me. Okay, well, when somebody needs help, and like I said, the holidays popping up, some folks get so depressed because they can't afford to entertain the Christmas holiday deal, but we don't need to entertain the Christmas holiday deal. We just need to enjoy the fact that we got a good meal and family. And if it comes to the dollar store or the Five Below or whatever, we can buy some gifts and give to folks, then we should do that, y'all. We really should come together and help those that really do need at a time of need. And you say, well, I'm in need. Well, we don't know if you're in need because we don't hear from anybody as far as that's concerned. But Pastor Ed and myself always look forward to trying to help people during the holiday. Why the holiday? Because the holiday tends to make people more depressed. That's why the holiday. But anyway, prayer. I did say for First Lady. I did say prayer for her and Brother Davis. I'm not getting. Oh well, I'm just going off some names. Sister, Brother Sharice, Brother Minister Frank. I did say Minister Frank, Brother Eric. Yes, Brother Kevin, Brother Spencer, Brother Kevin, McLean. I got so many folks that need prayer that's going through so much stuff, y'all. I really do, and it's sad, and it actually saddens me. I pray to be better in God. I would love to have the gift of being able to heal. People. Sister Michelle Antoinette, she's a sister that's battling a lot of pain, but yet you know what? She continues to press forward for the Lord, and I have to give her props because she does. She continually press forward for the Lord, even though she's going through a lot of pain. She's still trying to reach and help other women, especially women, but other people in their walk with God. Men are included too. But anyway, y'all have a blessed Sunday. Enjoy the holiday. I love you all. Like I said, we have the prayer, we have the birthday shout. We have, let's not entertain the world system, but let's entertain God. And that's for all whoever listens to this message, especially if you call yourself a child of God, a Christian. Entertain God's principles and not the world's principles. And we will do a much better job at helping at least those that need to come to God find him and stop being straddling on the fence and saying, this is the reason why I don't come to church or be around Christians. They too judgmental. They too hypocritical and all these other things. We don't want to be hypocrites, y'all. We don't. We want to be true. We want to be righteous in his sight. Well done. Remember, well done, my good and faithful servant. And well done means you did something well. So please not forget that. Amen. Have a blessed Sunday. Love you all again. Bye-bye.